Right. Good evening. I'm Apoorva Kumar, partner at Thornton, India. It's always a very difficult session, right? Between a drinks and a session. But the intention is to just take about 12 minutes max. So I'm Apoorva Kumar. I specialize as MSSP, which is SOC. I've been doing this for the last 19 years as my life, right? So my core, I understand dark web patterns. I advise clients globally on how to protect SOC as a service. But today we're going to talk about for next 10 minutes or 20 minutes on AI as a cyber shield and a cyber target, right? But I think some excellent sessions have happened for morning. We've got OEMs, large product companies talking about how AI can help you as a service. AI can help you to facilitate your business offerings, but AI also can help you to protect, and also it can be a negative connotation, right? So the intention is it's all in your hands. That's what we see as a pattern. Probably I'm going to talk about clear examples of deep web or deepfakes, what we've been seeing. We've been seeing clear patterns, how it is emerging, and the larger ramifications it can have from a complete overall culture. So what we'll discuss today quickly is AI through a dual lens, which means how it can be a boon and a ban point of view. Business adoption point of view, a lot has been spoken already, right? Cyber framework with AI evolution. A lot of questions come to us, hey, I've got 12 applications running. Am I data, is it actually going out? Because every single day there are multiple partners, OEM, integration folks are coming and telling me, integrate. But is my data actually safe? So ethical AI is going to be the large questions, and a lot of CISOs, DPOs must be already facing this in the market in a larger way. Adoption journey. A lot of questions come is that, where do I start, where do I end, right? Is there a hurry? Is there a way through which I can go through a process? Last, obviously there's a right and a wrong, and the entire culture cannot change. There will be ethical background, and there will be a good use and a bad use of the entire process. If I see on the great side, AI is now central to business operations, I think all of you accept it, right? When we, as Thornton, talk to large FS companies, right, applications of loans, applications of process have gone down by close to 100%, because that is the cost of competition. If you do not process your customer in 3 or 5 seconds, your customer is gone. Can a human actually do that? No. AI has to play that part very, very clearly. So that's a clear advantage on the process side everybody has seen. But on the boon side, attackers are using AI to scale threats. All of us know this. Advanced attacks have been used, how you can scale up and move faster. Business adoption, right? Let's come over to trends. 80% of Fortune 500 companies are already going to invest here heavily. Second is, global market is growing at a massive scale. AI-driven fraud detection is massive. A lot of OEM companies have already spoken about it. Agentic AI is a new fancy word. People all use agentic AI as a big way. How much of it is getting actually implemented is a question, but the truth remains is that huge amount of investment is going to happen, especially in the FS side. That's a very, very clear trend. Indian AI mission is going to grow very, very fast as India ramps up to become third largest country worldwide in terms of revenue. There would be emphasis on data, emphasis on how do you protect it. That's how AI is going to play a very, very larger role. I'll not spend much time. A lot of people out here already be doing a lot of work out here. But for us, from an FS side, we see anti-money laundering, credit scoring. Since we have a Dun & Bradstreet DPO, you must be seeing that from credit scoring it becomes a large purpose. We see what we see from a product companies, from a CIO side is that the question is, how faster can your business transaction be done? A lot of NBFCs and a lot of fintech companies come back and tell to us, customer is lost or won in 10 seconds. That is the attention span. So in that 10 to 12 seconds, do you retain a customer? But if you have retained and delivered that promise, AI has to do that. There is no other second thought to that. On the medical side, when the patient's remote handling, imaging point of view, I think Ambrish spoke fantastic about OT side, and we are seeing a larger trend, especially large manufacturing companies coming back into asking us, hey, my factories are 1,000 kilometers far. There is a risk. How do I integrate? If I also deploy a tool, how safe is my tool? Question is how to do that faster. Energy, again, we have got a lot of people spoke about it. And of course, IT and cybersecurity, for us, what we see is predictable and threat modeling would be the key for us. Any CIO, CISO, for them, the larger question now is, do not only give me a solution. Will that solution actually stand? That is the key, really companies are asking for. Second is behavior detection patterns. In one of the very interesting panel which was run, a question was asked that, hey, I have a SIM, I have a SOAR. Still, can I actually 100% go back to my board and say, I'm 100% secure? If you can say me ask, no. Because what the entire pattern is going to become, the entire behavior detection and how anomalies can be detected on a real-time basis, that's actually the complete trend we are seeing globally. With this, the AI model, what we see is traditional learning models, right? All of us during the COVID times have seen a lot of fintech companies growing and coming faster to us. Generative and multimodal models, which means that more than the two-factor authentications, what we see is that AI is going to now see the face modeling, the behavior modeling, and also detection of that. That would be the key for us. Privacy processing and attribution model, which essentially means that AI with the DPDP point of view will become a larger point of question. Given the three challenges, what are the key points? What we clearly see is bias and discrimination, lack of transparency and explanation, extremely important, right? Because the threat landscape is evolving at a rampant pace. Because of that, we see a lot of model poisoning or model theft. You might have the fantastic model, but in the entire change of command, where is the chain broken? How to detect? Larger question. Adversary attacks, and obviously there would be a large amount of supply chain attacks. That's the reason why if you see a lot of regulatory and compliances are talking about supply chain and vendor risk as part of the processes extremely. As part of that, what we see as intermediary, as part of the threat landscape, one, credential leaks, all of us know about it, supply chain, I'll not spend much time, but what we are seeing is AI-generated spear phishing. A lot of companies will agree to this, and day in, day out, we're getting focused spear phishing, right? A lot of CXOs, CIOs, CISOs must be getting requests from their top board members. How do I protect the identity of the board members? That is how attacks happened. I can talk about one of the key investigations, what we were doing. It was for a large NBFC company where the CXO's picture was targeted, a group was created, funds was created, and funds was picked up from the market. If you see the entire investigation, it looks completely real. So gone are the days where some fake things are there. Now it's very clear, generative, and absolutely informational. Advisory ML attacks, AI-powered vulnerability scanning. I think one of the panel already spoke about it. So what we clearly see is that I think this is a complete evolvement, and that's one of the, I'll probably spend 2-3 minutes out here. One was basically from a static to a dynamic. AI will move completely to a rule-based systems, right? A lot of companies, right, FS companies ask, I already have rules in my systems. So what? A rule can be migrated, a rule can be changed with the automation point of view, right? Second is machine learning, pattern recognition, anomalies, and then there is the generative AI, which is a clear trending what we are seeing. So what does it mean? Does it mean there needs to be a panic? Does it needs that there has to be, but there has to be a very clear thought out process, which essentially means that one, if you're trying to implement an AI modeling in your organization. Stage 1 basically is your test environment. Second, does your employee actually has a skill mapping? You might have the most fantastic products, but are your team members on ground trained to do it? Very, very important question. Third, CTI alignment, I'll not talk much about it. Second, with the CISO, with the infrastructure team, is the security integration happening? Second, alert automation, incident automation, and most important is the phishing drills. You might have the most fantastic thing, but if the rules are not enabled, how will you actually going to scale this? Followed by it, the third and the more matured model would be basically is hybrid monitoring, AI collaboration, smart tooling, and most important is that where nobody much people talk about it. Combining the human and the AI monitoring. One thing is for sure, human beings cannot be replaced. A lot of companies talk about it, right? The SIM, SOAR, and large other platforms can be without an L1, L2. If you really ask me, impossible. If you really ask me, that's close to impossible. Because human intervention still is required. I think, ma'am, you spoke a fantastic point upon MTT, mean time to detect and mean time to write. Any tool, right, ultimately from a governance point of view, from a compliance point of view, from a standpoint of view, it's mean time to detect, from an alert system to your recording of system, and from a detection point of view to an acknowledgement, which means that doing a false positive, actually it's an alert or a triggered alert, right? That AI cannot do it right now. It needs a human intervention. That's why the most critical point is human and AI will combine back to back. But the question out here is that only integrating AI without a human training is a disaster. But both, when they go hand in hand, will actually bear a lot of fruits. So what we say as part of the, I've been told to wrap up quickly, about 2 minutes more, right? So one of the key adoption journey, what we definitely recommend is one is plan. First of all, do a quick AI threat assessment, which means that what are the tools do you have? What are the kind of data which is going out? Second is implement models. Third is build awareness. As one of the sessions actually spoke about, right? Is your red teaming team really feeling threat? Is your team's internal security feeling a threat? So actually important is that, hey, none of your jobs are going to go. But this is going to make your job better, more efficient is the key. Fourth, adopt. Do a small simulation. And fifth is that simulate an AI-specific attack. Because all talk and nothing happens on the ground is zero value. Important is, right from planning to a simulate, you do an actually defib attack, which shows the value to your board, to your advisors. Last but not the least, the most important what I think a lot of people spoke about is human values, right? Ultimately, you can't change the psyche or the nature of a person. Transparency and explainability, right? If you're not going to explain your team members why you're doing an AI-driven process, remove the fear from people's mind. Robustness, security, and most important is accountability, right? October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, right? When we go and do a lot of presentations to board, we always say one point. Responsibility now has shifted from CISO, CIO to every board member. So when we actually go and talk about accountability as a process, the entire thing changes. Accountability is no longer CIO, CISO responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility very, very clearly. I think closing statement, right? In the hands of a defender, AI is a shield. In the hands of the attacker, it's a sword. The future depends on who is going to use it better. I think nothing more than that. Thank you.